Keep away from the door.
No, I will.
Don't worry, Bobby. I'll get you out.
Why? Who's there? Who's in this house?
Dr. Freudstein.
Yes, welcome back. Another film, another casa we are going to visit in Horror Fiends TV's The Houses That Horror Built. I am joined here by author extraordinaire. If you haven't gotten this book by now, shame on you. I will. I'm not going to say you're going to end up in the cemetery, but buy the book before you do. I'm just saying because it is a book that you must read, and it is on Amazon. Yes, I did say Amazon. The book is still on Amazon. Get the book. Support this guy because he is on the rise. And you don't want to be that person saying, man, I wish I would have gotten his first books when I totally knew he was going to be a superstar. So, yes, I'm talking about my co-host, Radar. What's up, buddy?
Not much. I appreciate the support, JR. I'm ready to talk about a interesting movie, to say the least.
Interesting. Yeah, this one. Whoo. Yes, the movie we're going to be talking about is The House by the Cemetery. And so, what is the synopsis of this crazy film? Well, a doctor is hired to do an investigation after a colleague of his kind of committed suicide. So, what does he do? He moves his family into the house where, well, this guy was doing his research, and this house has dirty little secret that lives in the basement. You know, whenever something lives in the basement, just don't move into the house. But
Just don't
so,
do it.
so right, I gotta tell you, I heard of this film. I never watched it, and I think this is the good thing about the show we're doing is we've had a couple of films that have been first watches for both of us, and I
Yeah.
think that's the good aspect of what we're doing. But yeah, this one's very interesting. So let's get right into it. I mean, it's always, I appreciate a film that the opening sequence actually shows you the house. So
Always nice.
what I have to ask you is, what did you think about what was your reaction to seeing this house and that opening sequence that kind of let you know what this movie was really about?
Right. I mean, so it is nice that it does open like, here is the house, the titular house. And because I feel like not too many films that take place in a haunted house start with just kind of some nice exterior shots of the house, really give you a good perspective. But more than anything, I feel like, I was drawn in by that intro. A very interesting intro. It lets you know right off the bat what you're going to be getting when it comes to the kills in the movie, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And it also lets you know that, you're going to have a lot of questions and they're not going to get answered.
No.
Not even remotely. I think this is the perfect movie that if you want to write a book, if you want to become a writer and whatever it is, like screenplays, books, YouTube scripts, Broadway plays, whatever. This is the perfect thing to watch to show you how not to do it. It's so wild, man. But what were your thoughts on the house and kind of its location, and also, of course, that sweet intro?
I'll be honest, like the first thing I thought about is, all right, who the hell is going to buy a house? we're like 80% of your property is a freaking cemetery.
That is wild. It's literally right there. It's in the backyard.
And the fact is that the one tombstone that was the closest to the house happened to be the wife of the ex-owner of the house.
Yeah, and it's in the house too.
No, that was the other one. Jacobs was in the house.
Oh, that was the other one. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Yeah, the other one, the wife was buried outside and the husband buried inside. But yeah, that kind of gives you a little clue of what's happening in this house. But I do appreciate the look of the house. I mean, I thought the look of the house was good. It did kind of captivate you to know, all right, you knew something bad was going to happen in this house, but like, all right, let's get to it. And lo and behold, I mean, this is your typical 80s trope where
Okay.
the first two victims are just a teenagers couple who are trying to basically get their groove on, and guy takes off and the girl basically, puts her shirt on because she was topless in her opening sequence.
Of course.
And yeah, the kill scene was very good. I enjoyed that kill scene because it was very good practical effects. And if you're a practical effects person, this film has a lot of very good practical effects kill scenes. But the one scene that kind of I liked the most in the beginning sequence was when you see the house and then you see the curtain open and there's a little girl in the curtain looking out the window.
Yeah.
And then it peels back and transitions into a photo. And then you get that whole thing where you got this little kid who, mind you, this kid was annoying as shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, this kid was annoying. Yeah, Bob just, oh my God. But yeah, so Bob's just sitting there looking at this, this picture. And I mean, he says, Mom, the girl is telling me not to go to the house. And then the mom looks at the picture and the girl's not at the window anymore. But then when her mom turns around, the girl's back in the window. I thought that transition was very well done. And it kind of leads you on to the next portion of, this story. Well, this movie. And it was these two characters, Lil Bob and May. Now, the dynamic between these two characters was interesting in the film because it was May who was warning Bob not to go to the house. But May lives in that town. And May, she sees certain things during, her walk into town, which, I mean, she looks at the mannequin, all of a sudden the head gets cut off.
Right.
But it showed you that there was a connection between these two kids. I mean, what did you think of the friendship, kind of the kids, Bob and May?
Right. Well, because so in this movie, again, nothing really gets explained. And even though Bob is a little shit, and that's a well-known fact that like anyone who's seen this movie, they hate Bob. But like if there's not really any defined like relationships throughout this film at all, like even the kind of fake out of like Anne, the babysitter,
Yeah.
like knowing the father, because they're always sharing this look like, uh-oh, we got a secret or something, and then nope, there's nothing there. Never mind. It's just so interesting, but I feel like it's so weird that the like dynamic between two kids, and one of them who turns out no one likes, is the like the actual strongest relationship.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, I guess, like, and not only just like their relationship, but what are your thoughts on May's kind of like gifts and ability? Do you think that was a kind of helpful in foreshadowing things a little bit?
See, it was, but it left me confused a little bit because of the fact that as you're watching the film, once we get to the ending, you're still questioning what the hell was up with May.
I don't think the director knew.
No. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of The Shining with where the kids seen the like the twin girls, and he would see other kids in the house, and it was just weird. I mean, not for nothing. The weirdest scene for me is when they finally get to the town, and all right, you're not supposed to do this because you'd be arrested for doing this, but leaving your kid in the car by himself. So both parents could go and talk to a real estate agent.
Wild.
And then May's literally across the street and they had this conversation. That messed me up. I mean, I was like, wow, she got some good hearing and he got some good hearing because they're literally almost like you could say a block away from each other.
Oh yeah, they're far.
Yeah, and they're having this conversation. And not for nothing, as a parent, if you was to, I mean, God forbid you don't do that and leave your kid in the car, all of a sudden come out and your kid's missing the car, and then he's across the street like in a park playing with a just big, like just demented looking doll. I mean, who takes the doll to the house? You tell a kid leave the doll there. It doesn't belong to you. Let's go. But no, let's take it to the house.
Let's
It,
go, fellas.
it was just a weird dynamic because it became like as I'm watching, it's like all right, is May Bob's imaginary friend, but then you get the connection later on in the film who she really is.
Right.
But it was just, like, oh, mom, I see my girlfriend and and she told me to say hi and then they asked Anna, did you see the girl? No, I didn't see the girl. So it's just like there was too many questions about who May was.
Too many.
Yeah, and then they go outside, they play, and every time she's like, oh, I have to. He has like, oh, I got to go back inside. As he walks away, no, Bob, don't go back in the house, Bob. No, I mean,
Don't
it
do
wasn't
it.
even a desperate attempt to like stop him. No,
Yeah.
Bob, no, Bob.
Nah.
I mean, it was. I agree with you. If you're writing a story and we like ambiguity, we like vagueness,
Oh
but
yeah. But there's a line.
yeah, the vagueness of this one was so massive that we're like, and to now, I still really don't know or understand the ending of the film. I'm still
Yeah,
like,
well, it's the perfect example, I feel like, of Fulci was like, I want to do some super gruesome deaths.
yeah,
And he like bought all the stuff for it and then went, shit, I gotta write a story around this and like cobbled something together.
yeah. It was like Friday the 13th, but with an attempt of trying to get a storyline. But
Kind
never,
of.
yeah, kind of just it just didn't pan out very well for me. But
Yeah.
let's go into the storyline aspect because the father he is hired to basically continue investigation, and he ends up uncovering that his colleague who committed suicide. Now, I'm sorry, that bar is not going to hold you in the library because that thing looks so small.
It looks so terrible.
There's no way this dude's going to hang himself and that thing's not going to hold. But he ends up finding out that there's something with this house, this Freudstein house. And he, soon discovers a couple of secrets that is hiding within the house. I mean, what did you think about the fact that you didn't really know much about the actual storyline
Right.
and this? I mean, what's your overall thoughts on the Freudstein storyline that's got kind of like mixed somewhere in this movie?
Right. I like we've been hammering this home this episode, but Fulci just did not try to do any kind of coherent story or explain anything. And he doesn't with the Freudstein storyline, in my opinion. But for me, that's fine with like the monster or the big bad guy. Because if you start over explaining it, then it kind of loses some of that charm. So surprisingly, I think this is the one aspect, like storyline wise, that you didn't leave too much in the unknown. I think it was a good amount. You don't really need to know the sort of motives and stuff for Freudstein. The dude built his house next to a cemetery. That's probably all you need to know. But what about you? Do you think like that this was the right amount of ambiguity for Freudstein, or do you think he could have used a little less, a little more? Where do you fall on this?
I think a little more because the fact
Oh,
that it left you confused at the end. You still don't understand what happened. You don't understand the connection. The fact that it turns out that May is a Freudstein. She's the daughter of the doctor who ends up being the monster in this film.
right.
And not for nothing, it kind of reminded me a little bit of, you know, um, House of a Thousand Corpses, Doctor Death. The fact that Doctor Death was in this underground basement facility and
Right.
killing bodies and trying to prolong his life, and this is what Dr. Jacob, Freudstein was doing the same. He was
Right.
basically, which is weird though, he was cutting up the bodies. It didn't really show exactly how he's, he had no machine there, nothing.
Nothing.
So
And he
he's,
was like a decrepit corpse too. So I don't know how good those fingers are going to be for doing that sort of operation.
he sounded like if Darth Vader had asthma, the way he would breathe. And then to top it off, he cried like a kid.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I didn't even register that until you like actually physically said it. Because again, I'm just confused by this movie. But like replaying the scenes in my head, I'm like, yeah, what? What? That doesn't make any sense either.
No. So what, was he like a kid in the head? I mean, it's like that's the questions, and the fact that we saw the wife's tombstone in the back, but then she shows up at the end of the movie and takes Bob away too. So it's just like I agree with you. It's like if he was like, you know what, this let me make. I mean, the kills were good. I mean, the kills were
Oh
brutal.
yeah,
They were
excellent.
really good. The fact one where what was it where the Freudstein went and started poking the woman like, all right, I'm gonna
Oh,
hit you in the stomach. I'm gonna go up a little bit more. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna hit the neck. I mean, it was very well done. It was very bloody film as far as the kills go. But I think that there was a mistake of not going too in depth with the story, where I think it could have filled some blanks in because we still don't know what the colleague found and investigated, even though you heard the audio of he's coming to snap, but what happened prior to that? What exactly happened prior to his colleague basically having a breakdown?
right.
I
And
think that's the question. I mean, what do you think about that?
yeah, because I mean, like, sure, I've never been in this situation. I hope I don't get in the situation where there's a ghoul living in my basement. But I feel like, I I would lock it up or at the very least, like try to set it on fire. I don't feel like I'd go crazy and kill myself because that just seems like the least helpful thing to do.
Yeah, not only
Call the
that,
cops.
do something, man. I
Do,
mean,
do anything.
if you know this guy's in the basement, and not for nothing, I mean, Dad, how could you not fight this thing off? I mean, it had one arm.
And it looks like because it's a 150-plus-year-old dude. It looks like a 150-plus-year
Yeah,
old dude.
and he's kicking everybody's ass. The fact that the mom passed away, the mom got killed, dad got killed, Bob got taken away. I mean, yeah, yay, the villain died. I mean, the villain wins, once again in
Yeah.
the film, but it just left too many questions. Now, one of my biggest complaints in this film, though, I got to be honest with you, is how many times we're going to do a close up of the eyes.
It's like a spaghetti western.
It killed. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
every
man, all
time they would talk to Anna, she'd start staring. I mean,
just
I'm
panning.
sorry. Not, dude, if you had a babysitter that acted that way, would you keep her?
Absolutely not. Well, they didn't even like hire one, right? Because she just showed up.
Yeah, she just showed up. Oh,
Just
Miss
showed up.
Goldstein sent me. She only maybe worked 2 days babysitting, actually.
Yeah.
And then you're the father, and the freaking basement sealed up, and here she's trying to open in the middle of the night. And Anna. And then he just turns around and goes to bed.
It's
Dude.
wild. This movie is just everyone like the horror trope of no one's just making a good decision, and it's just that for the whole film.
Yeah.
There's not one good decision that is made in this movie.
No, like I said, this was an interesting film. I would say the acting was not the greatest.
What? That's wild. I can't believe you'd say that. No, it's pretty bad acting.
It was. I'm sorry. The whole time I'm looking at the father, I'm like, this dude's just an a-hole. He's manipulating. And every time the wife would talk, he would just stare at him. And he'd be like, "Did you take your pills?" Oh no, they call it hallucinations. Have you tried? Like, dude, he ends up giving her the pills anyways. But yeah, it was just so much about this film that I mean, don't get me wrong. I think this film can be remade and can be done very well
Oh yeah.
if you stick with the storyline and show a little bit more of the storyline because this film will benefit from a lot of flashbacks as well as more concrete foundation. There's a lot of potential in a remake of this one. Has to be done right though.
Yeah. You keep the gore element for sure, but
Yes.
then just fill in the cracks of that story.
Yeah, like fill in the whole investigation, the fact that go to the hospital where this guy used to work at, this doctor, investigate, go a little bit more. I mean,
Do
dude
something.
he goes to the library, and even the dude that works in the library is freaking weird.
They're all creepy.
Yeah, it's just none of the characters in this film. You could say, "Wow, I relate to this person." Wow, I understand what he's going through. He's just
Right.
you're like, what? Matter of fact, I was like, I will never visit that town because that town just no. I'm sorry, man.
You get in the car, you drive on back out as soon as you arrive.
So, you got any closing thoughts on this crazy one?
Man, there are two scenes I feel like are super memorable. Like, well, there's a lot of memorable scenes when it comes to the kills, but I think the two that stuck with me, one of them isn't even a kill scene. It's where that random bat flies out of the basement, and it's like a whole ordeal for like 3 minutes of this family like being terrorized by this bat, and then they just kill it in the most brutal way possible.
And the slow, it's slow. The fact that it started in the basement, it was on his wife's head.
Yeah.
He pulls it off her head and then bites him. And he runs upstairs, grabs a knife or scissors, and just starts poking at it. This thing is like gushing blood all over the place. Bob gets sprayed in the face with blood. And the whole time you think is like, wow. But if you actually look at it, it was a foreshadowing how weak the dad was, because if he couldn't fight off with his bat,
That's true. And he could not.
Roystein fucked him up in this film. But yeah,
It's so funny. That, and then Anne's death is just like, because it just happens. And again, the whole movie, because of the whole close up on the eyes that happen every time Anne's looking at someone, you think she knows something or she's in cahoots with the villain, and then she just gets her head lobbed off. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, like exactly. She was the one. She's trying to release whatever's in the basement. So yeah, I agree. I thought that she was working with Dr. Freudstein, that she was part of it, and then she gets killed off in probably the most brutal way out of all of them.
Probably, yeah, it's up there anyways, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I wanted more. I wish somebody takes this film. Like, I'm a big fan of Fede Alvarez. He could take this film and turn it into a gem. But yeah, I mean, I would like to see this one remade, because the potential is there. It's just, it felt like you said before, let's get the crazy kill scenes, let's get the gore in, and basically screw the storyline. We'll just,
they succeeded.
Yeah, we just go along with it. Yeah, I mean, this one, first watch for me. Like, will I watch it again? I'll be honest, I probably would.
It's fun. Like, this is a perfect sort of like movie to get together with friends and like have a drinking game during.
Yeah. And
man,
just to watch it, because you're not going to take this film seriously, and it's unfortunate, because like I said, all great foundation for something good, but the fact that it needed a little bit more,
just a couple more tweaks here and there.
So if you are a filmmaker, you want to be a screenplay, you want to write something very well, take Radar's advice, watch this film. It gives you more don'ts than do's. But
plenty of don'ts.
Plenty of don'ts. Now, in case you were wondering, yes, we were going to do the House October Built, but we kind of went off course a little bit, because we decided to do two films that, well, honestly, I didn't watch either one of them, and Radar watched both, and the next one, I kind of reached out to him about, because I heard about it, so he was like, let's do it. So yeah, next film we're going to be talking about is a New Zealand horror comedy.
Which we haven't done a New Zealand film yet. So,
and I love New Zealand. Want to go there. I want to do the 14-day Lord of the Rings vacation package.
There's time.
Oh, I will do it. It's on my bucket list. But yeah, this film that we're going to be talking about, Housebound, watch it, is currently streaming on my favorite stream service, Tubi. Keep mentioning Tubi, because I'm kind of hoping to be like, hey, can you guys put your show on our streaming service? Because we will say yes. Absolutely. So this is GR, my co-host Radar. Get his book and let us know what house you want us to visit, because we are going house hunting for plenty of places, and we want one that, well, not a one of us has seen before. So yes, don't forget, hit the like, subscribe, share. We're almost halfway done with this first season of The House That Horror Built. And don't worry, we got something else cooking for you guys, which you will enjoy. So, this is GR Radar, House That Horror Built, Horror Fiend TV. Till next time, adios. Peace.
Peace.
No, Bob. You should have listened to what I said.